Hi, everyone. I'm Robyn Lynn Norris. I'm an actor, writer, and improviser in Los Angeles, and I know everything about Bravo TV.
And hi, I'm Carla Kakowski. I'm an improviser, a writer, and a director, and I know nothing about Bravo TV.
Welcome to the Bravo Bubble, a podcast for Bravoholics.
And they're friends who live outside the Bravo bubble.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the Bravo Bubble. We are back. We are very excited. We have had, you won't know this because we're going to be releasing weekly. We have had an extended break due
We
to
have
a variety of reasons. So by the time you
so
hear
much,
this,
so much.
yeah, there were holidays. I went to India. I came back. Carla
There
was
were
here. There
fires,
were fires.
which were
Uh,
okay. You and I are okay.
we are okay. The whole world i- is upside down. We
Yeah,
won't, this is an escape for us, so we'll try not to get too much into that, although it is
yeah,
strange. Carla, you were going to say
yeah.
something.
Oh, I went to New York City. I came
Yes,
back. Then I went
yes,
to Williamsburg, Virginia, and did an improv festival. Then I came back,
yes.
and we are here.
I love it. And I'm usually, well, you travel a lot too. I'm usually the one
Yeah.
that's like, go, 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 going.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
this time you were, because I also, well, I had a surgery. It was cool. Do we have to talk
Yeah.
about it? We can.
You're
Uh,
all rested, you feel better. It
I'm
was good.
rested.
It
It
all went
was not,
well.
yeah, nothing serious. We're back. We're ready. I can't wait to hear about New York. We have a lot to catch you up on, listeners, because we also went to serve before
Yes, we
this
did.
break. So Carla went
Mhm.
in knowing pretty much nothing about it.
Nothing.
So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And then we decided to have her watch episode 1 of Vanderpump Rules before I give her another assignment. So we're going to chat all about that. But before that, Carla, we actually haven't caught up, you and I, as friends for so long.
Yeah.
So talk about New York first. How was that?
Well, I think the last time that we recorded, you had recommended Sunset Boulevard. We
Hmm.
saw it. It was amazing. It was
Oh,
everything you
good.
said it would be and more. It was just
Yay!
so fantastic. Highly, highly recommend it. If you are, I mean, we also met up with friends and like, of course, people who live there like don't see shows. So
Of
I
course.
was
They're like,
like trying to
whatever.
get everybody to go see Sunset Boulevard, and they're like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, 1000%. It's unlike any production I've ever seen. It was fantastic. So thank you for that recommendation. Chef's kiss.
Yay. I'm so glad. I
Um,
was nervous. I saw that you saw it and I was like, I hope she loves it as much
I
as I do.
loved it. And Craig loved it, which is
Oh,
like Craig
good.
is very hard to impress, and he was incredibly impressed.
Oh, that makes
So
me so happy.
just because he has, he sees everything
Yeah,
and like he takes in so much content, so it's hard to impress him.
absolutely. Well, Atul and I, since we saw it, well, on iTunes or Apple Music, we will constantly play Tom Francis's version of Sunset Boulevard and picture
Yes.
him walking around. We
Oh,
love
so
it.
good.
So
So good. The
good.
cast, Chef's Kiss. I mean, just so good. We saw Oh Mary, also obsessed. Loved
Oh,
it, loved it, loved it.
so
We
fun.
saw Cole's last week before they left.
Oh, yay.
I'm sure Betty Gilpin is amazing too,
Hmm.
but so
Yes.
excited that we got to see Cole before they took off and took off
Yes.
like left the country. Just kidding. I don't know what they were doing. But and then we saw All In, which is a
Yeah.
Simon Rich written like kind of like staged reading, but elevated because there's like a set and music, and the actors
Uh-huh.
were amazing. We saw Lin-Manuel Miranda on his birthday, and everybody sang
Oh,
to him
how fun.
after the show, and Nick Kroll, who was just incredible, Adie Bryant, and oh, I forget this guy's name. I'm embarrassed. Andrew. Oh, he's so wonderful. He deserves
Oh,
better. I'm
Reynolds?
sorry. Yes, thank you.
He's so good. I saw
He's
him and
wonderful.
Josh Gad in this musical last year, Gutenberg.
Uh,
So incredible. Oh,
So it was so inspiring. We had 3 nights. We ate our faces off. We walked around. It was like 15 degrees out. I'm not
oh.
kidding. It was freezing. Maybe it was like 25 degrees out. It was very cold. But we just, who cares? We're in LA where it's like never that cold.
Yeah.
So whatever. It's like vacation for us.
Oh my God, I love it. I love that you did that and you went a couple months after we went and we saw most of the
Yeah.
same shows. That's so fun.
Yes. It was a
Oh,
blast.
yay.
That's me. That's my update. What about
Yeah.
you?
Well, pretty much went to India, which is incredible as always. Visited Atul's
Yes.
dad. And then I had this surgery. I'm not being cryptic. It was no big deal. Yet, uh, this is, I think, you'll find it funny. So it's actually January has been a pretty devastating month in terms of, I love Twin Peaks. I love
Yeah.
David Lynch, and David Lynch passed, and I cannot express how much I've been grieving. And
Yeah.
there's also been something so beautiful about like the outpouring online for him and just
Hmm.
watching his videos. And he was just such a nice person. And I do transcendental
Yeah.
meditation and I had fallen off a bit. So it's gotten me back into that. But what I thought was funny and also ridiculous is the surgery I had was an eye surgery. I had just been having some eye issues, and it was the day that he passed, and I
Oh
was bawling
no.
my eyes out. And I go into the surgeon, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like,
Oh.
"Oh, just my favorite director passed away." And she's like, "Okay, I'm so sorry." And then I was like, I hope this doesn't mess up the surgery. And she's like, "No, but after we do the surgery, you can't cry," which,
Yeah.
if you know me, I cry
That's
at
an impossible task.
everything. I cry at everything. I cry happy, sad, everything.
Yeah.
So he passed, and then I kept going online, and then I'd be like, can't read this tribute, can't read this. So for like a full week, I couldn't cry. So I watched the BBC version of The Traitors instead, and that was fun.
Oh, nice.
But
Nice.
that's pretty much what I've been doing, and then the usual LA stuff. So
Yeah, when I heard the
yeah,
news, I texted you because you were the first
yeah.
person I thought of. And now I'm just realizing I didn't even say, "How was your surgery?" I just said, "I'm
Oh my
so
gosh.
sorry that David Lynch
That's,
died."
oh my gosh, well, that's more important, honestly. No worries. The thing is, there've been lots of screenings here in LA,
Yeah.
that's been a nice, like, I've been able to go to some of those and just kind of immerse myself while the outside world is so wild right now. So,
Yeah. Well,
um,
I watched Twin Peaks Fire Walk with me. I texted you
yes.
screenshots of all the sweaters that I wanted
Oh,
from Audrey's closet. And then I watched finally Mulholland Drive, which I'd never seen. And then
oh
I
my God.
watched The Art of Life or whatever the
The Art
documentary,
Life.
The Art Life. I watched
Yes,
that. So I felt like I paid my respects to
you
both David
did.
Lynch and my best friend Robin.
Oh, thank
By
you. I'm
like,
so glad you
yeah,
did. I loved it when you were
yeah.
texting me the Twin Peaks pictures. Oh,
Yeah.
so
I
good.
was like,
I
I
love
must
those
have this
clothes.
sweater. I can't find. I'm actually really good at finding something in a TV show and then Google image searching it and
Hmm.
finding it somewhere like on eBay or whatever. And it was really hard. Like all of that stuff is difficult to find.
It
So
is. I've been kind of for years because I'm so obsessed
yeah,
trying to find some of those sweaters, and they're hard to find.
yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, R.I.P. David Lynch. Thank you for
Yes.
being so bananas and wrapping us into your bananas world.
Yes.
Try not to use the
And
word
now,
crazy.
no, I know. I hear that. And speaking of worlds, let's get into the Bravo world
Let's do it.
because
Let's do
that
it.
is another way of escapism that I enjoy. And let's chat first. And if we can
Yes.
remember way back
Yeah,
before the holidays, you and
sure.
I went to SUR.
We did.
And let's talk about that experience. If you do you have anything that stood out? What happened?
Well, I want to kind of take through. Hopefully my pacing will be appropriate.
Uh-huh.
So we met there. I drove myself, and I was like,
Hmm.
this. I never go to that neighborhood because parking's bananas. Again, not
Yes.
trying to use the word crazy. And it is just not easy. But I got there and immediately found parking right around the corner,
Hmm.
like literally around the corner. And I was like, what is happening? This is going to be the
Hmm.
greatest night of my life. And so I like get in there, I like stand outside and I'm like, oh, I don't see her. So then I go
Hmm.
and I stand in line and I have a very fascinating conversation with the doorman, who I've been told before that like I think people are trying to say I have resting bitch face, but they're being nice about it. And they're like, what's wrong? You look upset or,
Oh.
whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm just thinking. And really I was like delighted, but for
Hmm.
whatever reason, I guess I just look like I'm mad. And then he had like a really funny, kind of like esoteric conversation with me about spirituality and like living in the moment and stuff. And I wanted to
Yes.
be like, I'm an improviser for a living. It is my life's work
Hey.
to live in the moment. That is what I'm
Exactly.
pursuing at all times. So it was actually a really good conversation. And then you showed up, we got sat on the patio and we had a great
Hmm.
time.
We did. And what's so funny about that is I am perpetually early to things. Like
Hmm.
an obscene amount early because I just try to navigate any kind of stress that I might have at any time. So I was there and I made a tool drop me off because of parking. And I was like, let's just circle the neighborhood because I don't think Carla's here yet. So you were in there having this whole conversation,
I
and
was like there.
I was just waiting outside.
So funny. Yeah.
And so what we did sit on the patio, which ended up being really nice. I think we had made a reservation for the bar, and I don't know if we didn't look LA sir enough or what. Sometimes I'm like,
Oh,
do they not want us in there? But we looked good. We were
we
dressed
looked
up.
great.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
patio was really nice, actually.
Oh,
What was,
I have to interrupt you. I'm nervous
yeah.
now. Like, I
No,
didn't
no,
even know
no.
they did that. I thought we
I
looked
don't think they
amazing.
do. I don't think they
Oh,
do.
okay,
That's
okay,
me.
okay, okay, good. Oh,
That's
good.
my because I so rarely go to West Hollywood or like
Right,
a
me
club.
too.
It's not a club, but that kind of an atmosphere that I
Yeah.
just sometimes get in my head like this is not a commentary on you, Carla. This is all in my head.
Okay,
I was
good.
like, why did
Yeah,
they
as
sit
long
us
as it's about you.
outside?
Just kidding.
Yeah. So we sat outside. What was funny is then when I got there, so they had these, these giant gates and the doors and the scansions, and on either side were two gentlemen dressed up, and one was the guy you talked to, who I don't know, but he is on the social media and things. And then the other was Peter, who those of you who watch the show know who he is, Peter Madrigal. He's been there since the start, and you saw him in episode 1 that you just watched. At the time, though, you didn't know who that was. So I was like, oh my
Mhm.
God, Peter's there. And you're like, I don't know what's happening.
And I was like, what should we eat?
I know. And then I get nervous because I am a super fan, but I don't want anyone to know. And I don't want them to think I'm like stalking. So I was like trying to whisper, and you're like, I don't even know what's happening. But he was there. And then that guy that you talked to, when we left later, I walked by and he was having a heart to heart with another girl out on the sidewalk, and
Yes.
this adorable blonde girl. And he was just like, look, you gotta open yourself up to love, or it was something like that. And it
Right.
completely made sense what he had been talking to you about
It's
earlier.
his thing, I
Yeah,
guess. I guess
yeah,
it's his way of making friends with everyone. Fine.
exactly. And so we ordered our food, we had our drinks. Our waiter, was so nice, and
So
I won't,
adorable.
I don't know if he's going to be on the new show or not, and we don't
Right.
want to like out him or anything. So I'm not going to say his name, I think, right now, but
Sure.
I feel like we're friends. Like he was so nice
Yeah.
to us. He found out we
Yeah,
were actors, and yeah.
yeah, he was super chatty in like a pleasant way, not an annoying way, and like
Hmm.
very like genuine. I
Hmm.
don't know why I'm surprised. Like every time that I have an experience in LA that is outside of my norm, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why I was like, and I was excited about this, but I did kind of think like, oh, it's going to be one of these LA nights where we're
Uh-huh.
exhausted. I'm not going to be able to find parking, and it's going to be expensive for crappy food and all those things. And and he was lovely. He was like super charming and sweet.
Yeah,
So yeah,
so nice. Hopefully we'll be friends. I don't know. We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah,
And like it was beyond like a waiter being nice. It was like, hey, we're buds. And
yeah,
then we had goat cheese balls, if anyone's wondering. They were delish. And I took Carla on a tour of the entire thing, which at the
yep,
time she didn't know anything. And I'm reliving all the memories of the people behind the bar and all this.
yeah,
And I'm trying to think if anything else eventful happened. I did see Guillermo was there, who you didn't know who that was.
mm-mm.
And
But I do now. Yeah,
you know now. And he was taking pictures. He and Peter were taking pictures because we were in the front, by the Sir neon sign. So we saw all the groups of people coming in dressed to the
yep.
nines for their night. So it was really fun.
It was interesting though because there were like so it was some groups who were like very. It could have been any time within the last 20 years in LA, meaning like
Yes.
very short skirts, very tall
Yep.
heels, like anytime since the early 2000s, like they could have
Yes.
fit into that. Like,
Yes.
a hot night on the town. And
Hmm.
I said on the ton, like it's Bridgerton, on the town. And then the other side, which was like maybe tourists, you
Oh,
know,
100%. It's so touristy.
who were like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
kind of reminds me of Vegas. I lived in Vegas for a little bit, and it felt like people would dress to the nines, but it could have been a
Yes.
period of
Vegas
time.
is a great way to say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
within 20 years, like anything goes. And yeah.
Yeah, Vegas. That's perfect because I was like, how do I want to describe the restaurant? And I wanted to say a little bit like theme parky, but
Hmm.
like adult, you know? But
Yes.
but forget all of that. It's Vegas. It feels like it should be in
Yeah.
Vegas. Yeah.
And she does have restaurants in Vegas, and I've been, and I want to go to other ones. So maybe if we do make it out there, we'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Great.
that's that.
Yeah, it was fun.
So now what I want to do is let's move on to
Oh, we went to the
yours.
parking lot. Forgot to say that,
Oh, yes, we did.
which
Sorry,
you
I
were
got
very excited about, which is
very
why I had to
excited.
interrupt you.
I was
Yeah.
like, Carla, we have to walk around back. We just have to go to Sir Alley. And we did, and it was amazing. Like, no one was there when we got there, and there was like this little bench. And of course, like it looks like it does on the show. They didn't have as many chairs
Yeah.
out, everything was stacked. But I was trying to explain to you, like, this is where all the drama happens. So then we took pictures of each
Yeah.
other, which we'll post. And then when I was taking the one of you, though, a server came out and she was standing there, and I got very self-conscious of like,
Yes, that's right.
I don't want her to think I'm filming her or stalking her or gonna put.
And
We
I
try
was
to
like,
be,
take a picture of me, Robin.
look
I
at
was just like,
me.
oh, look at me. I have no idea, no context for anything that's happening except for your
No,
excitement.
I was so excited, and we got some really good pics that night.
Yeah.
So we will be posting those as we release the episodes. So
Yes, ma'am. Okay, sorry.
yeah.
Move on. You
No
can move on.
sorries. I'm glad you remembered that because that was super fun. Okay, so now we are back to Carla immersing herself in Bravo. You know, you've only seen a couple of episodes so far from the
Yeah.
different franchises. This is your first week watching a second episode from one franchise, and that's because Vanderpump seemed to really you
Yeah.
thought it was so wild. And so we thought, well, and because we went to Sir, let's have you start there again. Before we jump into that though, I want to continue down our music path. I did assign you a
Oh,
video
yeah.
to watch, and it was by Countess Luann de Lesseps. Feelin Jovani. Did you watch the
Hmm.
video?
I did. I watched it. I did my homework this time.
Great.
Um, I want to say this real quick, which
Uh-huh.
is because we took this break and I didn't partake of any of it,
Uh-huh.
I forgot who everyone is.
That's fair.
And I was like, who is this again? It's the Countess, right?
Yes.
She looks totally different than she did in the episode that I watched with her.
Uh-huh.
So I was confused. I actually watched it twice just to
Uh-huh.
understand what was going on. And
Yes.
then I was like, who is Giovanni?
Oh, that was one of my questions. Okay, good.
Idea. I didn't
And
Google it.
oh,
And I
good.
couldn't, I was like, do I know who this is? Is this something that I should know already? And I forgot.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so a couple of things. She does look a lot different. She is so gorgeous. I can't
Beautiful.
even.
I wrote
Uh,
down amazing cleavage, amazing legs.
yes.
Not to
So,
be too creepy, but
well, I mean, it's true.
yeah,
So,
beautiful.
the last New York you watched was from the very first season. So it was so long
Right.
ago, and she was the Countess, but she wasn't what she is now, which I believe we talked about in that episode. I was like, who becomes a future cabaret star? It's her.
Yes. Yeah.
So she tours the country doing cabaret shows. She has kind of reinvented herself in that way.
Wow.
She has a
Yeah.
number of other songs that I do want you to see. This
Okay.
is one of the more recent songs. And Jovani, do you have any idea what you think Jovani is?
It could be anything from like the pool boy to pasta. Like I have no idea.
Oh my God, I love it. And the video, any impressions on the video itself before I tell you about Jovani?
No.
No, okay.
Murray Hill, who's in the video, I
Yes.
recognized immediately
Yes.
because my friend plays saxophone for him and I've seen him live.
Oh, how fun.
And I didn't know that he was in the Bravo universe.
Yeah, I
Or
that's
is
so
he? I don't
funny.
know.
I
Yeah.
felt like you were going to recognize him. That's so funny. I was watching it and I was like, I feel like Carla's going to recognize Murray Hill.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that. And then of course you
Maybe we talked
recognize
about it
Rinna.
before. I don't know. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course. Lisa Renna. Yes. Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
That's why. Yes. Yes.
Yes. And Andy Cohen is there
Yes. Of
making a
course.
cameo. And Cynthia Bailey, who you don't know, she's
Mm-mm.
from Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Okay.
So I have not watched this video much beyond this time. I watched it twice as well. And if you notice, it's kind of all filmed. She's changing in and out of dresses, right? So she's got all these dresses. So Giovanni is a designer, and
Oh,
this video is inspired from an amazing moment in the show. And you haven't met this person, Dorinda Medley, although I showed you a meme or a GIF of her that was like, I cooked, I cleaned, I made it nice. So she's
okay.
from New York. She was not in the episode that you saw, but she's one of the all-time great New York housewives. And she is friends with this designer, Giovanni, and she had taken Luann to get some dresses, and Luann wore them in her cabaret show. And Dorinda was so, I can't remember if it's been a while, if she was mad about something else, but she was so mad that she didn't get credit for getting Luann those dresses. So, as an audience member during the actual show, she's screaming, Giovanni! Giovanni! And like just like clapping, like over the top, like she's
Oh
so legit
no.
pissed. It's pretty funny though.
Yeah.
So she's so mad, like Giovanni! And Luann's on stage trying to be like, uh-huh, yes. So
Wow.
she took this and then made it into a thing for herself. And like she was like, I'm gonna own that. And then she did it, which I think is so great. Like she's really good at taking things and then just capitalizing
Making
on
them
it.
into gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
Yeah. So we'll have to show
I
you that either that episode or that clip because it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'll need to watch that. I like that it was a film by. That's there's a
Oh,
credit
I
at the beginning and the end.
know.
A film by two names. That
I
made me
noticed
laugh.
that. I noticed that
And
too. And
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And the credits, it said Charlie number one, Charlie number or Angel number one, Angel number two. And to be honest, I know they did the Charlie's Angel pose, but I through the whole video, I did not get that this was Charlie's Angels. And
Yeah.
I think it was because Murray Hill was supposed to be Charlie, I think. Or Andy. One of them was supposed to be
Oh.
Charlie. Maybe
Oh, of
Andy.
course. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Because that's why he says at the top what
Yeah.
they're doing. And then I did notice, of course, the pose, but I just thought it was just the
Yes.
pose. But
Me too.
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It all comes
Yeah.
together. Sometimes you need to
Yeah.
talk about art in order to understand it and how you feel about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so fun reliving these songs because I feel like I don't visit them very often. So now I do want to assign you another one. So I'm going to give you a choice for next time.
Okay.
So you've heard these titles before. We're just knocking them out.
Love it.
So next one, do you want to hear? I'm just going to give you the titles. Tardy for the Party, Money Can't Buy You Class,
Uh-huh.
On Display, Waking Up in the Morning. I can't wait to grow up. Expensive, XXPEN dollar sign SIVE. Faya, FYAH.
Uh-huh.
Whatever I want, good as gold, touch in public, or feeling you.
That's so many. I'm gonna go with I can't wait to grow up.
I'm so happy you chose that one. I can't wait. I'm so happy. I cannot wait for you to watch
Yay.
this.
You
So
cannot wait
you'll
for me to grow up.
I cannot wait for you to grow up and watch this. So we'll watch that before the next episode. Now let's get into Sir. The previous episode I assigned you was the season finale of season 2, which was wild. There was the whole
Hmm.
fight. Now you get the intro of how it all started. So we're back to the pilot episode called Welcome to Sir. So, Carla, I asked you a few questions to keep in mind while
Hmm.
you were watching. I just want to hear your first impressions about the show and Sir.
All right. It's a very toxic environment, it seems
Mm-hmm.
like.
Mm-hmm.
First impression. I didn't laugh as much as this one as I did at the other episodes we've watched
Right.
so far. And I know that that's because you've purposely picked like heightened,
Yes.
dramatic or whatever, chaotic ones. So I
Yes.
understand like this is like it's supposed to get me into the world and da 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 da. But I was a little upset, and by upset I mean slightly irritated, not really upset.
Right.
Um, by the girl on girl hate was a
Uh-huh.
little rough.
Yes.
So I did look up, I did Google, I went against what I normally do, and I did Google when this came out, just because I needed
Uh-huh.
context to understand the tone, and
Yes.
2013 feels about right.
It's
So
very of the time.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it was like before, and also the lack of diversity, though there is one friend who pops in, I think later,
Hmm.
who's a person of color. Maybe she comes back. I think she comes back in the second one for a minute,
Yeah.
like in the background a little bit. But yeah, it was just all, it did feel like, oh, these, kind of big changes that we saw in the culture in the next few years were very well deserved, because
Yes.
this was not uh, a healthy cultural, sphere for us.
Totally fair and accurate. In terms of the laughing, I agree. It's kind of like easing you into it because no one knew what the world was, right? So it's like your pilot episode where you have to establish the world. I will say, like, this show to me is franchise is one of the ones that makes me laugh more than anything. And yeah, this episode is not that. It's more
This
just like,
series is one that makes you laugh.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
got
series.
it.
Yeah, it does. Like the one episode you saw, because there's
Yeah,
just it's so wild. It gets
yeah,
so wild as you go, and people are legit hilarious, unintentionally a lot of the time.
yeah.
Um, so the thing that made me laugh the most in this episode, and it's part of one of the reasons I love this show, and I know everyone hates him, but the thing that makes me laugh the most in this episode is Tom Sandoval and the hairspray. Like
Yeah, that
it's
was funny.
it's absurd. Like it goes on for so long and he's like reading the ingredients and he's like, any
Yeah,
hairspray that says this sucks. And then Kristen's
yeah.
trying to be like, your hair
She's
looks
like,
great.
please.
And he's like,
Yeah.
no, it actually sucks. It sucks, actually. It sucks. Look like Ricky Martin. It sucks. Like he's so upset.
Ricky
And
Martin.
he also, I don't know if you notice, he shaves his forehead.
I wrote that down. I wrote, did he just shave his forehead?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm
Yes.
yelling into the mic. I was so baffled. I've never heard or seen that
Yes.
before.
And use a flat iron. So there's so much that happens in that beginning,
So
which
what is happening on his forehead that he's shaving it, Robin?
I think it's like a way of exfoliating in his mind. He's very into grooming, as you'll see as it
Fair.
goes on, very much. But I think that's what it is. It's
Doesn't it give you
hilarious.
stubble though on your forehead? We
I
need a
have,
follow-up
I know.
episode just of research on this whole thing. Maybe it's something that people do and I just am totally in the, dark about it, but
It's so absurd. I
it's
don't know.
crazy. It's bananas, sorry.
It's bananas. So, yeah. So to me, that was the funniest part. Now that you've been to Sir, and this episode was really around the restaurant, the early episodes often are. Is there anything that stands out, resonates? I don't know if there would be.
No, I didn't notice any. There's a whole scene where the women are like talking about the costumes or the wardrobe
Hmm.
that they have to wear and how thin it is and short. I don't remember noticing any of that. Everybody seemed to be dressed appropriately for a working
Yes,
situation.
it's different now. They
Yeah.
did have the girl that came out the back in the alley. She had more of I think it was like season 2 or 3 outfit that is short, but it's a thicker cloth. It's like a black
Hmm.
dress. I've heard on the new show they're going back to some of those original outfits, so we shall see.
Really?
I don't know if
Okay.
that's true or not. So yeah, yeah. We didn't spend a lot of time by the bar, but you see on the show how the bar
Hmm.
comes into play. Like everybody's always going to talk to Jax and Tom and hang out there. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't. I mean, I think because of where my TV is on my wall, like compared to like how I felt when I was actually standing in the restaurant, like the bar is in a totally different place. And so I didn't really connect it as the same
Yeah.
space that I had been
Yeah.
in. But I'm sure once I get bigger, like longer shots or something, I'll start to
Hmm.
understand the spacing a little bit more.
Yeah, you'll start to feel like it's your second home,
Yeah, I'll
Carla.
be like, this is where the bar is. This is where that is. The scene that made me laugh the most was when Jax and who knows, some other guy who works
Oh,
there,
Peter, I think.
Peter, went to
Hmm.
another place and there was a cocktail waitress who was trying to get their order and they were flirting with her.
Uh-huh.
And then they were bragging about working at Sir, and she's like, "Oh, I've never been there. That's the gay bar, right?" Or whatever.
So funny.
And then how they like jumped on it. They're like, "No, no." And she's like, "Oh, it's in West Hollywood. I just thought it was like she's so cool and just like she wasn't trying to offend
Right.
them, but it was just like such a bro reaction.
Yeah.
Uh and it felt honestly kind of like more honest than a lot of the other stuff that was happening in the entire episode,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
again, once again, feels a little set up, especially between the
Yeah.
women of like, so and so's in the alley, go talk to her, or
Yes.
go up to so and say you need to talk. Like all of this
Yeah.
stuff is clearly happening. But that like interaction was very organic and funny to me.
Yeah, that was hilarious actually because she was just not having it. Like she
She
wasn't
was like
rude,
not
but she was
interested.
just like, I
Yeah.
don't care. Like, because they weren't
Yeah.
famous yet. No one knew who
No.
Jax Taylor was. And she's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay. Do you want
She's
some
like,
more
ugh,
food? What do you
I'm just
want?
trying to work, buddy. Just give me a break. You should know how
Yes.
this is.
Yes. And that was Peter. So that's the guy that
Peter.
was the other guy at the door that's still there to this
Oh,
day. So he's
right. The
still
manager. Yes, yes.
manages
Okay.
her. Yeah. So I'm guessing he'll be on the new show when it comes out too. Yeah, that was a really funny scene. I just like also seeing where all the places they go in LA. I always like look them up to see if they're
Yeah.
still
I did
open.
too.
Yeah.
That candy store that was opening when they're
Uh-huh.
having the fight over by the farmer's market
Mm.
is still open. Dylan's candy store or
Oh,
candy bar or
yes. Yeah.
something.
I
I
think
looked
that
it
might
up.
be episode 2, but yes, I
Oh yeah,
think
I'm sorry. You're right.
Carla
I
jumped
watched.
ahead.
I did. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, it's hard
Um,
not to. It's hard
yeah,
not
yeah.
to.
I love that you're like, Carla, I haven't watched episode 2 in 5 years, but I know that that's episode 2.
I know that's episode 2. What, who do you like or dislike? Did anything change? You met them all in that season 2 episode. Any other impressions?
Yeah, I really like Lisa still.
Yeah.
I think she's very funny and like also kind of empathetic. Like she has a sweet little thing where she's like, I understand how it is to be young and just like
Hmm.
doing whatever. But then is also like, please stop messing around, y'all. This is my
Right.
job and please stop being jerks.
Right.
I thought I really like her and I really don't like any of the other people yet. Actually, I thought probably the most quiet one in the episode was the one I liked the most. The other Tom's girlfriend. What's her name?
Katie.
Katie. Wait,
Hmm.
not Katie. What's the other woman? The other brunette. Not Sheena.
Sheena? Oh, Kristen.
No, you're right, Katie. Kristen. Yeah,
Katie.
Katie. But that's just because she didn't really. I'm sure when she starts talking, I'm going to be sick of her.
I don't know if you'll like her or not. She's had an interesting journey where people have not liked her for a long time and then really liked her at the end. So
Okay.
she's an
Okay.
interesting one.
I'm
She's a real
open.
one
I'm
though.
open.
Yeah.
I'm
So I could,
I'm I'm flexible. I'm willing to let them change my mind about things.
yes.
I felt the worst for Sheena. I felt like the producers really put her in a position to make her
Yeah.
look and be picked on in a purposeful way that is like gross and just part of
Hmm.
reality television.
Yeah.
And I also felt really awful for her when she was singing or
Oh,
like doing her sex noises, and the
yes.
producer was in the next room with her boyfriend,
Hmm.
making gross faces, and she's just like honestly trying to do her job. Like that's not
Yeah.
my kind of music or whatever, but she just wants to make this song, and then they're
Hmm.
clearly exploiting her. And there was no. I feel like if that was done now, there would be an awareness from the producers to put her in a position of strength and to like be in
Hmm.
charge of that moment. And they really let her just look silly, and that was unfortunate.
Hmm.
So that's my
Yeah.
feminist reading of the pilot of Vanderpump.
Oh, I totally agree with you. In fact,
Yeah,
I wrote that down as well. I was like, this is so cringy. This
yeah,
producer talking to Shay, her boyfriend at the time, and later husband, and just being like, you get her to make those sounds. Like it was
yeah.
so gross. And then he just
So
kept
gross.
nudging him. I was like, ugh, disgusting. Yeah.
It's an interesting like idea to, it's an interesting way to look at it now, again, because it's been 12 years or however long, and like still seeing some of that kind of behavior in the world of like a woman trying to own her sexuality and be able to, and I do believe that if somebody wants to walk the red carpet naked, they should be allowed
Yeah,
to, as
yeah.
we just saw. But when it feels like a man's manipulating it to his own advantage, that's when it
Hmm.
becomes really like cringy and upsetting. And so, yeah, I just felt really bad for her. And then I think because of that, I was on her side the rest of the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. I think you probably would be on her side for a lot of it. She has
Okay.
her issues. She is like a people pleaser, which is why I
Hmm.
identify with her. I think though she ultimately is a good person. So it's like seeing her getting picked on in that way is like a little
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
from the girls and that guy. Um, and any particular quotes from this episode? Anything that you wrote down?
Um, Somebody said the best way to sell food is to talk about it like sex in one of their like
Yes,
meetings,
that was
which made me
Katie. Yeah.
Katie, that made me laugh. Is that the gay bar? That made me laugh. We already talked about that. The whole, yeah, less less phone sex operator, more porn star. Like that was so
Mhm.
odd. Like not just because it was cringy, but it was an odd note. I was like, I don't
Right.
know the difference.
Right. I was like, okay, we'll
So,
see what she does. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's all I wrote down,
Great.
quote wise.
I think the most iconic, there are maybe three, and I don't have them written down, is Lisa's way that she describes her restaurants. So she's like, I have two LA restaurants. Villa Blanca is where you take your wife, Sir is where you take your mistress. So that's
Oh,
one thing.
okay.
The probably the most famous quote from the episode is at the end from Stassi when she's like, I am the devil, and
Oh
don't you
yeah.
forget it.
Yeah.
So Stassi, I think in this episode is very hard to like because she's so mean girl. She is very funny as the series goes on. So
That's good.
you don't get to see that really here. And then I think she did say something that makes me laugh when she was like it might have been her, Kristen, but it was like I think it was her about people who work at Sir. Like everyone who works at Sir are basically like the hottest. They want to be models, actors, this, and everyone who works at other restaurants just want to work at Sir. Like, I don't know, it's something like
Yes,
that.
yes, that made me laugh
I
too.
butchered that, but
Yeah. No, I totally remember that quote. It was perfect. No, I don't know if it was perfect, but
yeah.
it sounded close. She was so awful to Jax. And no, I know about Jax later. We watched an
Yes.
episode later and he's awful.
Yes.
So I know that he's like the villain, but in this episode, she really comes off like the villain. And I just felt
Yes.
bad for him the whole time. I was like, wow, she's really like just poking at him for no reason that we can see. Again, the
Right.
producers are manipulating it. Who knows what's going on? But yeah,
Yeah, later on, you kind of see like there's quotes from him and Sandoval who are saying things like, "Oh, she's crazy," or "Oh, this," and like Sandoval's like, "She always is jealous for no reason." And like the guys have quotes like that throughout the whole series. And
mm,
you get to the point where you realize they've all been covering for each other. They all were cheating. They all were doing. So
yeah,
there's a little bit of another side to it.
yeah.
The way it's portrayed, though, is like, ugh, yeah.
And we really should not be surprised that they're lying to us because Lisa kind of sets it up. I think it's in this episode where she's like, yeah, they all sleep together. They're all,
Hmm.
and even I think Peter goes through and like tells you who's been with who and
Yeah.
da 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 da. So it is
Hmm.
kind of like they let you know, like at the top, that is the norm. So
Yeah.
we maybe shouldn't be upset if they cheat on each other,
Yeah, I mean it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a couple other quick questions before we move on. I've asked these before, but I didn't tell you I was going to ask them again. As a writer, because you are a writer, anyone you would, based off this episode, want to follow for future storylines?
I mean, yeah. I mean Stassi is like the main character, so that would
Yeah.
be I think instinctively the character you should follow whether you like her or not.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good instincts, Carla, because she pretty much
Good
is.
instincts.
Season
Yeah.
one, she's the one
Is
that they
she?
pretty much follow. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And then on this cast, of this cast in this episode, who do you think made it all the way to the last season? So all 12 seasons.
Of this episode, well, we know it's not Kristen, and we know it's all is it oh, what's her name? I've been saying her name this whole time. Rainey? What's her name?
Sheena.
Sheena. Who's Rainey?
I don't know, but I like it.
I like it too. Sheena. I'm gonna say Sheena. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah, there are three more.
Oh, there are three. Oh,
Yes.
four. Okay. Sandoval.
Yep.
The other Tom
Yep.
and Katie.
Yep. Exactly.
Really?
So like based on the pilot, I feel like you wouldn't think that that Tom Schwartz or Katie would be. They
Yeah.
make it all the way to the end. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I figured, well, we know that for some reason I know that Kristen doesn't. I forget why I know that.
I
We
think
must
I
have talked
told
about it.
you. I think I
Which
told you.
is fine. And then it just seems like Jax and Stassi are too what's the word? Like volcanic. Like I just
Hmm.
can't imagine them being able to. They probably get famous and they probably go it goes to their head. I'm like imagining all of
Yeah.
these bad conflicts that they might have.
That I think that's accurate. I think Stassi's pretty successful as a podcaster and has
Okay.
done her own thing. And Jax is back on TV, and we haven't really talked about that. He and Kristen are on a show called The Valley, which is more like people who have kids and live in the valley. So they're a little older,
Weird.
and it's amazing. Season 2 is coming out soon. So
Are they not married though? Or
no,
are
no, no,
they?
not them
Oh,
together. Just they're the
okay.
OGs from this show that are now on this other show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm ready to move on. The only two other things I wanted to ask. So you saw the season trailer at the end of episode one that kind of
Hmm.
shows you. Did anything stand out from that trailer that made you want to watch it more? I don't even know if you remember. It was like a lot.
Um, no, no.
Okay.
It was like the way that it was edited together made me believe that they were trying to make us think that Lisa was going to fire someone
Hmm.
or something, but maybe
Hmm.
it's not going to happen and it's not clear who it
Right.
is, that kind
Yes.
of thing.
Good. And then something that else that made it stood out to me, which I thought was funny. I like to see the things that like no longer exist. So Lisa was like, I know who is it? So and so's friends, Stacy's friends with my daughter Pandora,
Oh
who
yeah.
writes for the Divine Addiction. So I was like, does that exist anymore, this blog? And I looked
Yeah.
it up. It is there, but I don't think it's them. I think someone has the domain name now because it didn't seem at all
Uh,
like them. But they will talk about it through the first couple seasons of like this Divine Addiction blog. But then I did find a website called Very Vanderpump and that focuses on Lisa and Pandora. So I'm going to look into that. I think that's old as well.
okay. Cool.
Blast from the past. Okay, now we're going to move on. I promised you that next week I'm going to assign you an episode of Salt Lake City, which
Yes,
is having
please.
an incredible season. It's wrapping up right now, and you have not seen one episode. So I have a couple just random questions just to see which episode to pick for you, okay?
Hmm.
Okay, I just want to know if you know what the term
Hmm.
high body count hair might mean. Like, oh, she has high body count hair.
Oh no. I feel like
Just,
I'm gonna. I mean, honestly, the first thing I thought of was like she's in a bikini and she didn't get waxed or something.
ah! Okay, amazing. I just love hearing these things out of context. Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide if I should tell you because it's
Don't
kind of
tell me. Don't tell
amazing.
me. You can
Kind of
surprise
amazing.
me.
It's a good quote from this past season. Okay, what is the significance of sprinter vans in the Real Housewives in general? What do you think happens the most if a bunch of ladies are in sprinter vans?
Sprinter vans,
Yeah.
V-A-N-S.
Yeah, like those big vans that like you load people in. It's not a limo, but it's like a
Like where
van.
they're going.
Yeah, like they're going places. A lot of things, the same type of thing tends to happen inside a sprinter van. This is such a nebulous question. I'm just
Well,
curious if
that would be spring and winter, right? So it's like,
the
oh no. Okay, sprinter. Oh, is it like this is where we get drunk
kind
before we
of.
go to an event? Okay.
Yeah. There's a just a lot of fights happen in these vans that
Oh,
are
okay.
really over the top. So like for some reason, if you put the ladies in a van and they're going somewhere, by the end of that, they are knocked down, drag out,
Okay.
fighting. There's usually, yes, alcohol
My
involved.
brain is so weird because I immediately was like spring and winter.
Well, sprinter.
But sprinter's a word.
That's true. Yeah, it's more just like it's not a limo, it's just like a big van to transport people. So
Okay.
they will production will often put people in sprinter vans and
So
Chaos
it's like the
ensues.
alley. It's like the Vanderpump
Yeah,
alley
yeah,
or the
yeah, yeah.
Sir alley. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And another place that tends to happen, these things happen on shows, is boats or yachts. Like
Okay.
anytime people
Sure.
get on a boat or a yacht, they're trapped in the
Of
water
course.
and fights. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple true or false statement or moments. And
Okay.
these are all from Salt Lake City. And I want you to tell me if these are true or false, okay? So
Okay.
just what your instinct says, okay? The first one is a hot mic moment was had in which a cast member said the following about their longtime friend. All right, I'm going to read it to you. She can go fuck herself. I'm done with her because I'm not a fucking whore and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and her dumb fucking family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Oh, wait, you can't because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes. She's a fucking piece of shit. I had your back and I'm offended by that. Fuck you, that fucking piece of shit garbage whore. I fucking hate her. She's a whore. She fucked half of New York. She can go fuck herself. True or
True.
false? Yes, it's true.
You were so into it. It had to be true.
It's true. I was like debating if I should change it up a little, but I was like, I just want to see if this is true or false in your mind.
That's what you
Based,
use for your audition monologue now. I'm sure of it.
absolutely. I say I'm going to do the Lisa Barlow monologue from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. True or false? Homeland Security and the NYPD arrived in the strip mall parking lot outside of Beauty Lab and Laser to arrest a cast member for federal crimes just as they were about to leave for a cast trip.
Oh, true.
That is also true. You're acing this. All right, one more. Ready? True or false? One of the
Show me
cast
that
members,
episode. That's the episode I want to see.
it's
Sorry, keep
possible.
going.
No, it's possible. True or false? One of the cast members is married to their grandfather.
Oh gosh, false.
It's true. They were all true.
Ooh, you must explain that.
I think I have to let you see the episode.
Oh my God. By marriage, grandfather by
Yeah, by
marriage.
marriage.
Still not okay, but
Yeah. Pretty wild. This is
wow.
Salt Lake City.
Can I
So,
tell you a quick story? It's very
yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
My father's mother divorced my grandfather and then married her uncle by marriage.
Okay.
And he had, by marriage, she married
Okay.
her aunt's husband. Her aunt died. She married her
Okay.
aunt's husband.
Okay.
They had 7 children.
Okay.
So my father is brother and sister, stepbrother and sister with his first cousins.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you know what? It happens.
We could be on the Real Housewives of Kentucky
You
because
could
that's where
do
we're
it.
from.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. See, it's not so far off. These things happen.
It's America, you know.
Yeah. I
I
want
don't know
you
what
to
that
meet.
means.
I'll tell you who that is because you've brought up her name before. You saw her already in the news. Her name's Mary Cosby. So you'll meet Mary
Oh,
Cosby later. She's married to her grandfather.
that's
Yeah.
upsetting. Or not. I don't know. Maybe
Or
I'll love
not.
it. Maybe
We'll
it'll be
see.
like the most romantic couple of all time. I have no idea.
Yeah, you'll see. Okay, last couple of questions and then we'll wrap. Which of these iconic fights would you rather see? So there's no wrong answer. Um, well,
There's a wrong
I'll,
answer.
no. I think I wrote it weird. Okay, I'm
Okay.
just gonna read them all. All right. A fight where one person says to the other, "You smell like hospital." That's one. A fight that occurs while they are dressed in bonnets and churning butter. That's two. A fight where a grown cast member having their bat mitzvah, a grown cast member having their own bat mitzvah, kicks another cast member out,
Okay.
or a fight over bath bombs or whether someone's bathtub is clean. So out of those four, which would
Those
you
are
want to see
all
the
really
most?
fun.
Yeah,
I think for this setting, I need to go with number two, where they're churning butter.
I knew you were
Although
gonna
I
pick that.
love the line of dialogue, "You smell like
I like
hospital."
hospital.
It's
That's
very
also
tempting, but I think the setting I need the butter churning.
okay, great. And I have a couple options of episodes, so I'm just going to think on it based on your answers
Okay,
and decide where's the best place to start you.
great.
I will tell you that the "You smell like hospital" quote belongs to Mary Cosby. So
Oh, okay.
she is an icon. I do want you to
I
meet
won't be
her.
mad if you decide to go with that one. I will
We'll
enjoy that as
see.
well, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we'll see. Okay, I'm very excited to get you into Salt Lake. So I will assign you the episode. I've got to think on it. We'll assign it
Okay.
to you before our next episode. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Before we wrap, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, this was super fun. I'm happy to
Yeah,
be back. I mean, again, they
me
don't know that we're
too.
back, but like this is fun.
Yeah, they don't know that we're back. It's been a break for us. We're so excited. We're going to be regular weekly
Yep.
throughout the year. So this is very fun for us. So I think that is a wrap on this episode. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us on the Bravo Bubble. Next week, I'll continue to quiz Carla as she immerses herself in the world of Bravo. I have been Robyn Lynn Norris.
And I'm Carla Kakowski. If you have a question you'd like to ask us, you can email us at thebravobubble@gmail.com.
Follow us on all social platforms at the Bravo Bubble.
And if you love this content, it really helps if you could leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. It helps us get the word out.
Our theme song was composed by the brilliant Krista Duggan.
And official Bravo Bubble of photography by Ian Zandy.
See you next time on the Bravo Bubble. Hi, everyone. It's Robyn again with your next Bravo Bubble assignment. So based on our last episode, I can tell Carla's really going to want to go to Salt Lake City. I can feel it. I feel like this one's going to resonate with her. So I am assigning her Season 2, Episode 10, Highway to Vail. It's a banger of an episode. As always, if you want to take the quiz in our last episode, you can take it, you can give it to a friend, see where maybe you would start your friends. Here's where I'm starting Carla, and I hope you watch along with us because this episode is amazing. We'll see you next time.